What is up, y'all? This is John B., also known as Smooth Hot Chocolate here, and I'm back with my favorite top 5 Goosebump book list of all time. It was just pretty hard trying to make the list though, because there were some other books that almost got into the list, but I decided to go based on just the stories that I read about these books, and I think that these top 5, at least in my opinion, are going to be the strongest that I feel that Goosebumps ever came up with. So without further ado, let's get into the list. And if any are your favorite, holla, holla. So number 5 is gonna be from the Cyber War series, Revenge of the Invisible Boy. Well, I believe this book has a good story to it. Well, first off, some people like to compare this book to Let's Get Invisible and My Best Friend's Invisible. And while this book has absolutely nothing to do with those two books at all, which I really don't care for those two anyway, actually. It takes the premise of this boy named Frankie Miller who is trying to be, he's obsessed with magic tricks. But unfortunately, his creep friend Ari is always trying to screw him up for him. So one night, he and his friends go to a magic show with Mystical Marvin being a magician, and Mystical Marvin has this invisibility potion that he uses for his tricks. So, after meeting him backstage, he decides to swipe the potion to get back at Ari for all the things that he's put him through. And one time he actually manages to spike Ari's lemonade with it, but unfortunately Ari was kind of onto his plan, and instead of Ari turning invisible, Frankie turns invisible instead. But there's a problem with the invisibility spell because it actually makes him invisible for a little bit longer than it should. Because before, when Marvin drank the potion, it lasts for a few seconds. But now, when Frankie drinks the stuff by accident, the spell lasts a little bit longer than intended. Also, the ending feels a little bit rushed than it does, because the revenge part doesn't really kick in until near the end of it, and then it gets kind of squandered in the end too. But if it wasn't for the ending, it would have been higher on the list though, but it's on number 5 though for me though. But still a pretty good read if you get a chance to check it out. Number 4 on the list is going to be Please Don't Feed the Weirdo, also from Cyber World. Well, I haven't read the book on the challenge just yet. What I love about this book is the atmosphere of having an actual monster involved in the book. Of course, Goosebumps is known for that though. But the fact is that the adults and the parents are actually onto the monster too, because usually sometimes parents or adults don't believe kids about anything that's going on, like a monster or dummies come to life or something like that, or lawn gnomes come to life and things like that. But this time, an actual monster is present in front of the adults, and they understand that this is an actual problem for the town. What I really love about the book, most of all, is how the main character, Jordan, alright, and his younger sister, Carla, trying to find some kind of way to stop this monster from terrorizing everyone, because it's mostly just based on just how the monster loves to eat food, and it's kind of like Gremlins in a sense, except Gremlins actually turn into monstrous things and they multiply when they get wet. This monster, which is actually a human in disguise, can actually make himself into a monster once he eats something. And not only that, he could actually forget his name is what's the guy's name? Fudge. I forgot what the monster's name was here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'll edit it though, and I'll post it up here too. It's been once since I read the book, but anyway, he can actually transform into any kind of other person that he wants to. He's like a chameleon, so it makes it really hard to find him in the crowd of everyone else too, to blend in very well. The book has a incredible dark ending to it, which I'm not going to reveal if you haven't read it just yet. But overall, I do love the book for what it does. It gives you like this unsettling feel, like, because anyone could beat a monster, and it's hard to really trust who you know because you don't really know who you know because of this creature among everyone that you think you know. It's kind of like the Skrulls in Marvel Universe in a sense too. So, yeah, this book was a good read for me too. It has some very good moments as well too, when it comes to just destroying everything once the monster was fed and stuff, and just out of control. Robbie, Robbie, that's his name, Robbie, Robbie, yeah. Oh my god, it took a while to remember it though, but I got it right though still. But anyway, good book's a good read. I hope you check it out so we can get a chance. Number 3, Creature Teacher, from the 2000 series. Now, this is a book that actually came onto my radar very, 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 very late. As you can tell, I did the read of it just recently. And one of the aspects about this book is the unsettling fact that you have a teacher who is a monster. And the parents of this kid that take him to a boarding school with a teacher there are just totally oblivious to the fact that this woman is a monster, and they tell the kid basically, don't judge her for his appearances. So worst parents ever. And not only that, they get on his case because he likes to make jokes though. Okay, so instead of punishing him the proper way, they decided to say, fuck it, send him to a boarding school with someone else that is more equipped, supposedly, to deal with children more than they are, deal with them, actually. And I'm like, what the hell? And once he's there in the school, it's all about competition between, who's on the bottom of the food chain. Because if you're at the bottom of the food chain, she's going to eat you. Ah. The ending feels kind of rushed too, actually, when it's all said and done. But I plan to read the sequel at some point on the channel too, if you want me to. But overall, I really enjoyed this book, and I feel very bad I didn't get a chance to read the book much earlier in my life. But when you kind of follow the Goosebumps for a bit because of other things going on in your life, you can't help it though. But now that I have a second chance with it though, I'm glad with this book, at least right now though, at the moment. Number 2, The Cuckoo Clock of Tun. You're probably wondering why this book isn't number 1 on my list. I'll get to that in a minute. The reason why I liked The Cuckoo Clock of Tun so much, on number 2 at least, is because even though I don't have any siblings of my own, I have cousins though, and they love to play tricks on me though. But Tara is an incredible. Oh, sorry, I gotta get myself for a second. Tara is the most vile sibling I have ever read about in my entire life. And the parents are so freaking stupid that they actually see Tara do these things, but they kind of pass out like she doesn't know any better. Hell, I feel for Michael. I know he's a fictional character and all, but I really feel for him though when he goes through all the shit that she put him through, and I see the reason why he made the decision he makes in the end of the story. But I love the story though still because it, with the clock being the main thing that he uses to try to get Tara in trouble, it actually ends up hurting him in the process though, to a point where he goes back in time. And I love how the book kind of makes the whole thing like a time crunch. Like, if it was like a TV episode, it'd be one thing. But when you're actually reading the book too, you kind of really feel for him as he's talking about what he's going through during the time when he's going back in time to a certain moment of his life. And then when several years start to begin to pass of his life, realize then that, you got to do something about this problem now before it's too late. Because when you get back into the womb of your mom, you're done, basically. It's something you could do. Unless you just pop out of her stomach, which is going to be freaking creepy as all hell. But, I love this book because of its ending. And Some people may think it's kind of mean for doing that though, but when you read about how Tara treated him during the first chapters of the book, you kind of understand the reason why he feels the way he feels and how he pretty much got his revenge. Not the way that he expected to happen though, based on a technicality of the clock, but just on how she treated him and how the parents kind of just use, kind of made him feel based on the way that they viewed her. Like, she's more important than him, even though he's supposed to be the eldest, though. But, a very hellish sister, never be seen again. Go. Now, number one on my Goosebump list is gonna be Chicken Chicken. No, fuck that. That book sucks. Sorry, just joking with you about that. No. Number one is actually, above all books, surprisingly, The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. The reason why I like this book so much is because mystery. A mystery of why kids are disappearing at the camp. Like, why is it so important for kids to win 6 king coins at Camp Jelly Jam? And also when it comes to brother and sister Wendy and Elliot that are really cool siblings and they get along just fine. They're not, the worst ever actually that I've read about. But this is a good story about how winning isn't everything and sometimes just playing for fun is the best way to go about with things instead of just trying to play for some kind of prize or something, because the prize that you win may not actually be worth it in the end. And ever since I read that book, I read the book on my channel too some years before, and I really love reading about just the mystery of the monster. And unless if you're reading that crappy reprint, which I unfortunately did, which kind of kills the whole mystery in the end anyway. But I can really say it's kind of better than reading the actual print, original print of the book, because that buddy guy is as creepy as all hell on there, actually. The ending is not, what you expect, but I'm not going to spoil it if you didn't read it, though. But yeah, it's the main thing about the Hurricane Joe Gem is just a mystery that I just love about the unsettling about what's going on at the camp there. Why there are earthquakes there? Why the kids vanishing? Like, what is going on? Why won't people tell anyone about what's going on there? What's the whole mystery behind the camp there? But overall, I really do love that book, and I was gonna say The Haunted Mass at some point too, being one of my top mentions too. But I guess the reason why I kind of didn't want to put the book on the list because it's an obvious choice. I want to be a little bit different this time, but not because I don't like the book. I do like that book, but what kind of set me off on the whole story is just how there's a lot of focus between the mom and Carly Beth, and the mom seems to really be more devoted in showing her love to Carly Beth, and can't forget that you have another kid, Noah, her younger brother. And in the end, when Carly Beth defeats the Haunted Mask spell, she doesn't really think to get rid of the mask. She, for some reason, keeps it, even though it kind of almost destroyed her life. And if you think back to what the shopkeeper told Carly Beth about the mask and stuff, which she was trying to get off of her, about how if anyone else puts the mask on, or she puts the mask on again, it would stay on them permanently. Well, guess who had hold of the mask? And it's not his fault because no one warned him about the mask being cursed. But I kind of felt they got the short end of the stick, honestly. But it doesn't really show her smarts by getting rid of it. Yeah, it shows that she is brave now. She can, confront anything at this point. But when it comes to getting rid of something that almost ruins you, not too many smarts there, I guess. But I'll let it pass anyway. I can't feel bad for Noah though because of how he just kind of gets the, shafted stuff in the end. But what can you do? Alright, everyone, that's been my top 5 Goosebump book list. If you like the list, let me know in the comments below about which one's your favorite, if any of them are your favorites at all. And let me know if you have any kind of opinions about which one I'm going to do for Goosebumps when your book read later on in the future too, and I'll get back to you about that as well. Until then, guys, this is John B. here. Take care and see you soon.